Welcome back to the final credits. On today's show, we will be talking about Knuckles, what we thought about it. A little about some rumors we hear about The Rock and him playing a character in the MCU. We're going to be talking about something called Rebel Moon Part 2 or something other than that. I don't know. That movie was crazy. And I think it put us to sleep. We're going to be doing a little review on Shogun and a little picture that James Gunn has unveiled to the whole world on X, or was it Threads? Regardless, he showed us
Social media.
He showed us what Superman's going to look like. All this and more. Stay tuned. Joining us today, we got a guy who loves mozzarella sticks, but yet we call him Joey Pancakes.
It's good to be back. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
And none other than our pal, Johnny64.
And Knuckles.
And me, Mike Spade. So, guys.
Somebody
Knuckles,
doesn't get that meme.
I didn't get it. All right. I'm the old guy in the group. All right. Anyway, so, gentlemen, we saw Knuckles. And, you know, what was it? 6 episodes? 8 episodes?
6-episode miniseries or limited series.
A nice little teaser, a taste right before Sonic 3 comes out at the end of the year.
Oh, yeah.
So, what did you guys think?
You're a big Sonic fan. You go
I
first.
guess I'm the biggest
The
Sonic fan
bigger,
here.
yeah.
we're friends with bigger Sonic fans for sure. But no, it was good. I think it was a little too goofy for its own liking, even compared to like the movies itself with its humor. But it kept me going all throughout the 6 episodes. The quality was movie level, I thought. And, you know, bit of a weak villain, but, again, the characters just kept me going. I just think the humor was a little too juvenile, even for this series. But, yeah, overall, definitely worth the watch if you're a Sonic fan at all.
Pancakes, what do you think?
I was definitely looking forward to the series. It did deliver in some ways. I liked it overall. I just felt like like what you were saying, like the comedy was overboard. I didn't expect Adam Polly's character Wade to have like equal billing and equal screen times as Knuckles himself. So I think that was a little too much. And another small criticism, I felt I didn't expect the episodes to be like 20, 25 minutes. I think the finale was a half hour. But if the episodes were going to be that short, then they should have just done a streaming special. And then...
Well, you know what? I think I actually like the fact that it was like short episodes for a short season because, like, again, that was just a contributing factor as to why it just kept me going. It didn't drag. It definitely didn't drag. No. It didn't overstay its welcome. Each episode was its own episode for sure. It wasn't like, let's say, Secret Invasion, where it just felt like a movie being chopped up into one big thing.
Okay.
There was... God, it wasn't like that.
Yeah, so I think they pretty much nailed that, and like there was like at least once or twice I thought to myself during like watching this, I was like, this is probably what Marvel needs to do in terms of structuring out like its story and its writing for these types of shows on its like streaming platforms. But yeah, and then of course Idris Elba as Knuckles was by far the star of the show. Yeah.
All right. My take on this is very simple. We watched a show called Knuckles, but he wasn't the main character of this show. We had less Knuckles and more of everyone else. So I think
disagree, but okay.
I can understand why you would disagree, but this is a Knuckles show. It should be Knuckles all the time, or at least for the most part, but it wasn't.
I think what they were going for, instead of having like they had in the first movie, Sonic and the human be Sonic more the comical character and the human be the straight serious character. They were trying to do comedy and funny character together. So I guess that's where it threw things off a bit.
I feel like that's where it failed. And because of what Johnny64 said, the juvenile thing. I'm not saying that I didn't like it. Yes, there were a lot of jokes that I laughed at. I was chuckling a lot of the times. But to me, it felt like it was geared more towards children,
family oriented.
Not that I'm not. I have a funny bone. I know. But I'm just saying, like, I liked it, but I felt like it went too juvenile at some points.
I did like how it started. Like Sonic is a warrior without a cause. He's used to fighting in the war. That's why it was funny when he was attacking the contractors one after another. He thought they were invaders of their home when they were just trying to fix the damage to the home from the last Sonic movie. Well done with the cameo or the guest stars of Sonic and Tails. Like, let's not pretend let's not pretend with some like Marvel stuff like, oh, the main characters are in this world, but we're not going to see them on screen. They put them in the first episode, well established, and they just left them in that first episode. And Knuckles was able to go off,
veer off,
yeah,
veer off into his own thing.
Yeah, so that's why I disagree with what you're saying. Is that like the first episode, like they gave. I was happy like watching the finale, like the last battle, and because I was like hoping to myself, like, man, I hope Sonic doesn't come in to save the day and take it away from Knuckles. They got Sonic and Tails out of the way the first thing in the first episode, and then I really thought it became Knuckles' show. Maybe they like the human characters had a little too much focus. But it was still very much about Knuckles, like kind of revolving around him. Like the villains were after him and his power. It was him trying to like form a friendship and relationship with that guy Whipple and his family. So it was his show, and like I said, Idris Elba did an amazing job as him. And the lines, I think he had some of the best comedy or the best comedic moments in the entire show, without a doubt. And also the theme song. I think the intro. After that, I think it was like "Warrior" by Scandal. That like I was listening to that song on repeat all throughout the week. So good.
The music, the '80s theme music was on point.
Yeah, like the CD booklet, like intro. That was so good
for a show that's supposed to take place in the present day and not in the '80s where you expect the music. I think they used it really well. One scene I thought was like, the '80s. The music montage, like when Wade was knocked out and he was having the vision and his friend had the guitar. I mean, it was funny when he thought like, okay, I got my lesson. He wake up and like, wait, hold on, you didn't learn your lesson. He wakes back up only to get knocked back out to learn the true lesson. One guy I didn't realize was in the show because it wasn't exactly advertised, but props to Doc Brown himself. Christopher Lloyd was the voice of the elder Sonic. What was the name of the character?
Oh, that was him. Pachamic?
Yeah, he was Knuckles' mentor. Like he
Pachacamic or whatever his name was?
Like when Knuckles was praying
Chief Pachacamac.
Yeah.
Like when Knuckles was looking for a sign from above, and then the ghost of his mentor appear.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't even realize.
So I was going to bring that up. My next thing was going to be is who was your favorite character in the show other than Knuckles? Like for me, Kid Cudi as Agent Mason.
I didn't realize that was him until I checked the cast.
Oh shoot! Yeah.
Like,
wow.
So the first time I saw him, I was like, "Why does that guy look familiar?" And then afterwards, I realized, "Oh shit, Kid Cudi." So I liked it. I've seen him in other movies too, like that godforsaken movie on HBO Max called House Party. I don't know, House Party 2023. That was such a bad movie, but he was in it too. So I liked him. I liked the dry, sarcastic type character he played.
And
I didn't realize that was him.
And I wish that they were sticking with the '80s theme rock music, but I wish they used the song "Memories" because that got stuck in my head. The actress Ellie Taylor that played his partner, I thought she was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, Agent Willoughby.
Yeah, and she mentioned something. You had to see Sonic 2. Like she's like, oh, I'm planning. I'm doing all this from behind the desk. I have all these theories about alien invasions, how we should stop them, and I'm doing things like planning fake weddings, which was a scene in Sonic 2. So I caught that. So
that was actually a good catch. I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, so
I didn't catch on to it.
So they gave her character some like a purpose. Like I forget what Kid Cudi's purpose is. I guess just to make money because they were corrupt agents and they have access to all this technology. Right. But you mentioned with the villain that it was a little bit on the weak side.
Yeah. I think the villain.
It was just as we thought from the trailer. It was basically Robotnik Light. Of course, it was.
I worked for Robotnik.
We thought that was exactly what we thought was going to be the case, that they work for Robotnik. Sure enough, that's what it is. So, I mean, the show, it didn't need like a crazy villain, but I think it was just a little too predictable. I think the things that were weak about this show were just predictability. It was like predictable humor, predictable outcome, predictable villain. You know what I mean? So I think the most like surprising thing is just like we had like a whole episode around a Shabbat, like a Jewish Shabbat. That was like the most
That was
big
funny
thing that stood
though,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for all its faults, it is the most watched show in the history of Paramount Plus. I know the
the history is
bar
not
is
that long.
not
I know,
high for that.
I know. I'm just. It had like I think the number was like 4 million hours of viewership.
Wow.
And like you mentioned, geared towards families. So that was probably who was mostly watching this show. One thing as a fan, maybe not to his level, and other friends that are Sonic fans, like that I went crazy. Like when he saved Wade, he's like, and when he went, you see, in one of the games, I thought that he's flying, which later got clarified that he's gliding.
He's gliding. He's
I can glide for short amount of
limited.
time.
Yeah, the fact that they included that was definitely a nod to the game, to the fans, and I'm like, yes, they included that. I wanted to see more of that, or I don't know if they did that in the Sonic 2, but
I know they did not.
but
And then also the hat.
you had,
Yeah.
but as a kid, I swear that Knuckles had the ability to fly, actually glide, but that they include that was a wink and nod to.
Yeah.
That was a cool moment.
Yeah, I liked it. You know, the other person that I hated in this movie?
In the show.
Show.
This wait.
When you really think about it, Wade's sister, yeah. When you really think about it, it was like an hour and a half long, right? Altogether, right?
You knock it out in one day or over
it
a
was
weekend.
episodic enough where it worked as a show,
Right.
but yeah,
So,
I see what
but
you're saying.
Yes, Wade's sister. Oh my God, I wanted to strangle her.
Yeah, like what?
Oh, the FBI agent.
Yeah, the FBI.
Her
agent.
like she was more
so annoying.
She was more juvenile than the brother, whatever his
Yes,
name was.
Wade.
Wade Whipple. Yeah, Whipple.
So,
But yeah, no. They
hated her.
They bounced off of each other in like the worst ways possible because like
Yeah.
he was corny, she was cornier, and then they would blend together to like just create one big corn syrup, and it was just like
I felt like there was no chemistry between the two of them. Like, and I'm not saying like a romantic.
they were trying to
chemistry.
force like a sibling
Yes,
chemistry, and they
yes.
just weren't hitting it. And then on top
Failed
of that,
miserably.
and on top of that, like Stocker Channing, who played the mother Wendy Whipple, like trying to always be like, "Oh, you darn kids, like behave yourselves." It was just like, are these 5-year-olds like stuck in an adult body? Like, you know what I
That's
mean? Like,
exactly it. Yeah.
I don't know.
This might be a reach, but did you guys catch the dodgeball connection to the movie?
The movie Dodgeball.
Yeah.
No.
I think again, this wasn't confirmed. Just a thought. So when they get to the bowling tournament in Reno, and the commentaries are working on ESPN D Ocho, or
okay.
And I think didn't Dodgeball have their broadcasts in the movie? I'm trying to remember with that.
Maybe.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
But I feel like it's a joke that
Yeah, yeah.
everyone does. Like, oh, we're not good enough to be on regular ESPN. Let's pick
No,
a random number. ESPN.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Just looking it up, it was originally on in Dodgeball, and then ESPN created it for real to use sports that.
There you go.
But I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool, and they got
And a good cameo from Paul Scheer on that too, the comedian. He was one of the announcers.
Let me ask you guys: do you feel like that whole bowling tournament thing?
Yes,
was
I
a
know what you're
little-
about to ask. Yes, it was too long and too drawn out. I was like, why
okay.
is this the finale battle?
Yeah,
you know.
don't get me wrong. The finale, the actual battle, wasn't bad.
Yeah,
It wasn't bad considering that you had to fight Robotnik Light. But
definitely movie quality with that.
yeah, but
It was, you know what though? Even that fight, it was so reminiscent of like the Robotnik fight at the end of Sonic 1, like the first Sonic movie. I was just like, this is really like a Robotnik retread. It's just, you know,
rinse and repeat.
it's a lesser rough around the edges Robotnik with a lesser rougher around the edges Sonic versus Robotnik battle, but it's just Knuckles versus this guy. So yeah, but even so, that fight could have used a couple of extra more minutes that they could have taken away from the bowling tournament, which it was way too drawn out. I was like, we're here to watch Knuckles, not people bowling.
I totally agree. So, anything else you guys want to add?
It's definitely, I definitely enjoyed it. I guess I put it on a level like it was, I think it delivered. It's definitely worth the watch. It had its faults, but definitely entertaining overall.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you go into this kind of knowing that this is not going to be anything crazy deep with its story or writing or anything like that. Full entertainment only. It's the jokes are kind of corny, but it's still makes you laugh every now and then. Again, Idris Elba just crushes it as Knuckles, so you're there to watch that. And like you said, just a nice little stopgap before we get the full Sonic 3 meals. So
Nice little appetizer. So the question goes out to you guys. Let us know what you guys thought about Knuckles. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you think that the movie is going to be 10 times better? Let us know in the comment section down below. So next on the agenda is, guys, The Rock playing Apocalypse. What do you guys think?
Nah. Absolutely not.
I don't know about that one. I mean, any major actor rumored to come to MCU is nothing new, and The Rock is the latest one. I mean, we have Harrison Ford in the next Captain America movie. That's crazy enough in its own right, but him rumored for a role, not surprising. I don't know. I don't know if I could see it. I mean, he has the physical presence to play Apocalypse, especially if they do more loyal to the role. But
that's how I was thinking it. I was thinking it, maybe they'll have him physically play the role of Apocalypse then have somebody else dubbed at his voice.
No, he would never, ever, ever agree to something like that. If he's going to be in a role, he is going to be in the spotlight 110%. And he better get top billing, and the movie better be named Apocalypse, which is another reason why this is never going to happen. We saw this happen with Black Adam. We saw this happen with the Fast series. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson just does not know how to not be the full star of a movie, and he will not work well with people that just want to tell him otherwise. So I don't want him anywhere near the MCU to begin with, just for that reason, because I know he's going to come with a lot of drama. He's going to come with a lot of headbutting.
You mean he's not going to come on time?
Yeah,
right? Because he's going to always be late.
And you know what? And if we're bringing the X-Men live action to the MCU for the first time, like in their own movie, don't risk it with this nonsense. I think, and we've been getting recent reports of him being like over 8 hours to a day late to come up on set. How much money does Marvel burn already on these movies? They're not going to risk that with him. I'm telling you right now. And
I'm curious if this could lead to Apocalypse being the main villain in the first one. He would be like a second or third villain, like for the build up to Apocalypse. I'm not saying make him the big MCU bad, but the X-Men trilogy, or how many movies they do, should have a slow build up to Apocalypse. But we were talking offhand who we wanted as a villain in the first movie. You said keep it to classic.
Keep it classic.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Okay, let's think back on the Marvel universe, right?
Right.
Who is the first movie we had was Iron Man, right?
Right.
Who was the big bad in that?
It was Ironmonger.
Right, Obadiah Stane, right? So you're not going to jump up and give him a villain who is 10 times bigger than what he is, right? So you want to start off slow and implement a next level type villain every single movie. That's like saying in the first Avengers movie, Thanos should have been the big bad, even though he was, but it was more like a
behind
teaser,
the scenes,
a behind the scenes thing. You can have somebody like The Rock playing Apocalypse physically. His voice, no way. Apocalypse needs to be, for lack of a better term, sound smart. Not saying The Rock is stupid, but he doesn't sound like an intellectual.
But the thing is, you're totally asking for like a Sweet Tooth scenario. Like you want him to be Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal, like where they had Samoa Joe be the body of him, and then like get what's his name to be the voice.
Will Arnett.
Will Arnett. The Rock again would just never agree to be that, and he would push and push and push until the villain would be completely different from what was originally envisioned. And we can't afford that. We can't afford that for the MCU. We can't afford that for X-Men's first Forgo. And that's really what it comes down to, in my opinion. So keep him away.
We saw what happened with Black Adam, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying before.
Behind the scenes, like he went over the heads of the not the current regime, but the previous regime. He went over their heads to the head of the Warner Brothers.
He tried to go over their heads,
to get what he wanted, and
and Kevin Feige, a power struggle with him. That's a completely different
Kevin
situation.
Feige would be like, "There's the door."
He would,
Well, before we start casting the X-Men villains, let's just get an official announcement when the X-Men movie's coming out,
right?
And then we'll get the cast and whatnot. I mean, let's get the Deadpool and Wolverine first and see what direction they're going. If we even get an introduction of an MCU Wolverine at this point. But as far as this, I don't know. I don't see it, at least not now. maybe after seeing fan artwork to see it cast, but I mean, you're gonna roll your eyes, but one of the first villains they should do with the X-Men that hasn't been done yet is Mr. Sinister.
You're not the only one to say that. I don't think he's a first movie villain, in my
Nope,
opinion.
he's not. Maybe second, maybe third, but not first.
Solid. I think he would be the second.
Right.
He would definitely be the second.
So the question goes out to you guys. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that The Rock would play a great Apocalypse physically? I don't know. Voice acting.
Vocally.
Vocally. That's the word. Vocally. So physically, vocally, let us know down in the comment section and tell us what you guys think about that. Because we're kind of all on the same side saying, no, no, no.
No, thank you.
No, thank you at all. So, listen.
Oh boy.
We're going to be talking about Rebel Moon Part 2. I'm going to tell you all the following. I tried 3 times to watch this, and all 3 times I fell asleep. I think I saw maybe a total of 15 minutes. So I'm going to leave it up to these guys to tell you exactly what they thought about this movie, because I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I couldn't make it to the end of the movie either, honestly. This movie is bad. The first Rebel Moon was bad. We did the review for that. This movie was even worse. Everything that the first movie did terribly, this movie did even worse. The characters were even worse. The writing, I think they gave up halfway through, because the whole second half of the movie is the fight. And it's not like that, like Endgame, where it meant something. It was just mindless shooting, minimal dialogue. It was just a whole fight scene. The second half of the movie.
So what you're trying to tell me is I did good by falling asleep.
You didn't miss much, because the first 15 minutes and maybe another half hour after that was actual dialogue and story writing. But then after that, everything was just pew pew pew, shoot shoot shoot. Take down explosion ships and all this stuff. It was just that's it. That was really. I actually had to rewind at one point. I was like, was there a dialogue that I missed? And there wasn't. I'm like, how did Zack Snyder expect us to tolerate a scene like that for that long? And then it was all.
So it was that bad.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it was all for nothing, because I don't know how it ended, because I stopped watching it. But it felt like it was all pointless and drawn out.
Pancakes, you saw the full movie or no?
I saw the full movie.
Nice.
He saw the full moon.
But it took 2 sittings to get through it. Okay, so I hope my co-hosts don't fire me from the final credits of this.
Oh God!
But I thought.
Hold on, I'm writing your
yeah,
right now.
Your walking papers.
I thought the jeez.
You thought the movie was good?
I thought the movie was leaps and bounds better than Part 1.
Oh, okay.
You had to watch. You got to get through the crappy first one. But I thought Step 2 was way better. I feel like there was definitely more an emotional attachment. We got the true backstory why Cora's character, why was she on the run? She was, she got forced into the coup of the royal family, and then she got set up to take the fall. Then she escaped to the farm planet. I thought the actor from, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. He played the dad in the Gran Turismo that played General Titus.
Simon Haju.
Exactly. He was actually really good. His character has a redemptive arc. Again, basically what Part 1 was missing is that Part 2, the team got more of a backstory why they have issues with the Imperials, their version of the Empire or the Motherland, whatever they're called. I guess this movie's not going to get anything good about this movie is because of who directed and wrote it, because Zack Snyder is maybe after James Cameron the most polarizing director in Hollywood.
I don't know.
Well, he's up there. He's up there.
Yeah, he's
People
up there.
aren't hating this movie because it's Zack Snyder. I mean, they're saying Zack Snyder needs to be put on a leash after this movie. That's for sure.
I will agree with them on that.
But I don't know.
I woke up in parts where everything was just slow motion. I was like, again?
Yeah,
that's
the thing too. Everything was literally drawn out into slow motion. We're watching them pick wheat for grain in slow motion. Why are we watching them farm in slow motion? Every 5 seconds. And that was the war scene, the whole second half of the war scene, the second half of the movie. Slow motion and explosions. Every time there was an explosion, slow motion. Every time somebody fell down, slow motion. I'm like, I'm never going to get to the end of this movie.
He has gone on and said that he really likes slow motion.
I can tell.
So
I can tell. But too much. It was way too much.
So, like I thought there was definitely more emotional telling. Everything with part one, just thinking back on it, felt that everything was being thrown at you at once. Like, oh, let's recruit a team of warriors across the galaxy. Here's the bad guys. But I feel, and we had the return of the big bag. Ajax from Deadpool was back, but he's more psychotic because he came back from the dead. I thought they did a better job with the second one, and I guess since you guys didn't get to the end, or they did set it.
I didn't make it through the first half.
This is the biggest problem with both of these movies is that it doesn't know what the hell it wants to be. Like it's a whole bunch of like rip-offs mashed together instead of just like one original better story. I'm like, one moment it's like we're watching Lord of the Rings, next moment we're watching like Dune, next moment we're watching like a cheapened version of Star Wars, and then some other movie I'm probably not thinking of. But it's like it was too much melded together. I mean, the backstories that the characters were talking about, I didn't give one shit about them at all.
But that's because the characters were not something that you wanted to invest your time to learn about. But they were boring.
Maybe Sophia Boutella's story was like the most interesting because it was actually relevant to the story. The rest of them was like
she carried the movie.
She did not, but that's the thing too. She's not a great star actor. Like she had her good action scenes, fine, but like her character, maybe it was her character's fault, not her fault, but like there was nothing hooking me to her character to care about,
So the movie did end to set up a third movie to go after.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm not even gonna bother. I'm not even gonna bother.
So Ajax is killed off. So now they're gonna go after the guy, that mastermind, taking out the royal family. And the big reveal is that the princess that she thought she was ordered to kill survived, but she was in hiding. And Titus revealed that at the end. So, and they had a couple of big deaths, like her love interest, the gunner. Who was like the second built after her. He sacrificed himself to kill in the big battle towards the end, and
whatever.
And the
I'm in agreement.
It didn't matter. But everything you're listing, like it was all set up as fluff. All of it was just, like I said, the things that were drawn out, the backstories that we didn't need, the characters that we didn't need.
The yin and the yang of the movie.
No, but it's just like, it was there just because he felt like, you can just tell Zack Snyder was like, okay, this is what made like a really good fantasy movie. This is what made a really good Star Wars movie.
Let's put it all together.
But it was all tropes. It was all like obvious tropes that didn't matter. It was just there just to set the tone, I guess. I don't know. But it was annoying. Like it was every 5 seconds. The music too. It's like it reflected in the music.
So the question goes out to you.
Anyway.
The question goes out to you guys. Did you guys watch Rebel Moon Part 2?
Probably not.
I hope you didn't, because I fell asleep. Johnny didn't even make it to the whole movie.
I might be delusional.
And Pancakes
might need therapy.
Definitely delusional and needs therapy next week.
Do I still have my co-hosting job at least?
One more week. We'll give you one more week.
We'll see. We'll let you know. But all donations will go to our fund for Pancakes' therapy.
My pancake fund, but okay.
On that note, let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below about Rebel Moon Part 2. Hopefully the last and not a third.
Maybe they won't. Yeah, won't get past the cutting floor. The third one.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, gentlemen, this weekend was you did that really good. So this weekend we saw
a TV show called Netflix.
No.
Okay.
It was a show on Netflix.
Okay.
But it was the greatest roast of all time for Tom Brady. And
fuck you, Tom.
Yeah, basically. Fuck you, Tom.
I should have said that during the intro.
And like Will Ferrell, and the one clip, Will Ferrell dressed up as Ron Burgundy from Anchorman.
Anchorman, yeah.
He is Eli Manny's bitch.
Yeah. So
time.
Here's the thing. I loved it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was great. I think comedians are getting their platform back, because for the last few years I don't think there haven't been any roast in the last few years.
It's been a while.
And I feel like the wokeness isn't happening, because there was some raunchy stuff said. But the point of this topic today is not about that. It's more about, if you watched it live, you saw things that did not happen when you watched it later on. So there was a scene where at one point Tom Brady gets up and goes up to Jeff Ross and tells him,
Cut that shit out.
"Yeah, cut that shit. Don't
do that shit ever
Yeah,
again."
Exactly. So the point is how does this affect future shows, like for instance WWE's Raw? How is that going to affect everything? Because people are watching Raw live on USA now, right? So nothing gets cut over there, but yet somehow Netflix, right after it was shown live, they cut that piece out, and anybody who saw it afterwards did not see things.
Yeah, you had to go online to find that clip that you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of. I feel like that's. Like, I can't think of any other specific examples, but I feel like this is definitely not the first time we've heard something like this happen with the streaming service. But like, it's I don't know. Like when it comes to live events, I agree. Like it's live for a reason. You want to see all the
Let it be. Yeah.
All the nuances and things that people mess up or things that people say, and to like take that away like during the like for a live broadcast. Like in the case of like Kim Kardashian getting booed, it's like just let everybody see her get booed. Like, what is she gonna be like? Is she gonna be like crying and wiping away her tears with the $1 billion that she has? No one cares. Like I don't even think she cared.
No,
when she went up there for 3 minutes, she had the shortest skit, and then she went back down. She went back to her table, and she didn't give a shit. So who cares? Just put it up there. I think it's stupid.
I can't believe it was 3 hours, but
It was a long, yeah.
But I will say this: it looks like it was a good showing for Netflix, and the roast seems to be getting praise across the board.
Right.
With
It
this.
was good.
Yeah,
it was really
They
good.
let comedians be comedians.
Exactly.
I will give Netflix that. They let them say some stuff that I feel like if this happened same time last year, people would be getting canceled because of the stuff that they were saying.
And as they get to 2025, when Raw debuts, they're doing more live stuff. They just had an award show. Was it the SAG Awards? Maybe that they broadcast. They did this roast in the summer. They're gonna do the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul.
So I think they're practicing before Raw, because Raw is going to be every single week.
But the real test is for their live sports is when they broadcast. I can't believe this is happening. The circus that's going to be Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul on Netflix, because I guess it's a pay-per-view because you're paying for the membership for it. So they're going to see how the viewership is for that. But the roast is definitely promising. I still got to watch the whole thing, but I saw the major clips. What I've seen is so funny, and to go to certain areas that Comedy Central probably wouldn't have touched back in the day.
I will agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the question goes out to you guys. What do you guys think? Did you like the roast? Did you see the original live version and then realize later on with the recording that there was things that were missing?
Do you want the Snyder cut, the 4-hour Snyder cut of the roast of Tom Brady?
Yeah, let Netflix know you want the
Snyder cut.
The Kevin Hart special, which he did a great job, by the way. So yeah, let us know in the comment section down below. All right, so one of the last reviews that we're going to do for today,
Yes, sir.
and that's going to be a little Japanese flick. Is it Japanese? Well, I guess you could consider it.
It's very Japanese.
Yeah, a little
Japanese story.
Japanese little TV series that is on
Hulu.
Even though
Hulu
it
and
says
FX.
but sure.
Well, it is FX. It's also on Hulu to stream.
Exactly. Shogun. And if you watched any of our previous shows, towards the end of the show, we are always praising to watch Shogun.
Yeah, we've been teasing this for a while, but now
Yeah.
we're finally actually getting it done, doing this review for it.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, what do we think? I will go first and say that visually, this show was amazing. The story was great, in my opinion. Veered off, from what I hear, a little bit off of the book. Veered away a bit. It wasn't the same as the original one, because the original one had more of a love story-ish going in it. And I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved how... I'm also like, I love Japanese culture. So to me, it was like, oh, this is so cool. To me, it's fun. But I felt like it was, not in a bad way, but in a good way. It was like...
Game.
Yeah, it was more towards like a Japanese version of Game of Thrones, without dragons.
And
A more realistic, serious
and
approach
not
to it.
without the supernatural stuff.
Right, exactly. So,
Something that like really held Japanese culture dear, and
Yes.
ran with it.
except for that one ninja scene that I didn't see coming at all. But other than that, yeah, that threw me off. I was like, wait, what? Okay.
I know it's based on a fictional book, but a book that
A true story.
a true story that covers the time period. Like what's so cool about the time period, like Japan is very much still in the samurai era, the customs, the tradition, but but Western it's interacting. It's like the early signs or the early years of its crossover and working with Western culture, like with the Portuguese and the Spanish, and then obviously the British guy who's
Right.
the central character.
John Blackthorne.
Exactly.
Anji, the Anji,
The Anji.
or the barbarian.
Like I agree with you. Visually, it was amazing. I felt like it was a mini movie.
I gotta look up to see how much the budget was on this because this
I'm gonna say
show-
easily 100 mil.
I bet you it's not as much as you think it is, because I think one of the beautiful things about the show is that everything was like shot on location, everything was practical, everything was done without like an overlay of like or an abundance of CGI. Like it just everything you saw on screen was actually there. So between that and just what's his name, Hiroyuki Sanada, who we've always seen in like a lot of supporting roles. We saw him in Rush Hour 3 as Jackie Chan's brother. We
Avengers
saw him
Endgame.
Avengers Endgame when Ronan, aka Hawkeye, was fighting him in Tokyo. A whole bunch of other. He was in the movie Life with Jake Gyllenhaal, that alien ripoff movie. And he's always been great as a supporting character. This is really the first time we've seen him in like a starring role, and I think this is going to go down in his legacy as like his best role yet, or
I
at least
loved him
in
in
his
this.
entire career.
Lord Yoshi Toranaga.
Yeah,
Nagi?
Lord Toranaga. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought the story was good overall. Maybe not as great as you say. I feel like multiple arcs going on at once that at times early on in the first couple of episodes, it was a bit tough to follow. I did like the flashback that it provided the backstory for some of the things, like for Anna Sagwa's character, like we find out like she's in an arranged marriage,
Right.
and she only did it to make up for what for the evil things her father did in the past.
Right.
I think she just had her arc and story was such as important as Blackthorn's arc and for her master's arc. So those three were carried the whole show as they should. But again, it was a bit confusing at times, but it achieved what the purpose it was trying to do on screen.
Yeah, I think it wrapped up things really nicely. I won't disagree that sometimes it was a little bit hard to follow, but it might have just been too, just because like a lot of these names that we're hearing in Japanese are very, like they're not easy to remember at first. And you gotta like, I found myself looking up like the IMDb
Sure.
as I was watching, and just to kind of like put the names to the faces, like okay, like this is Toranaga, like this is Yabuguchi, whatever the other guy's name.
Kashiji, yeah.
So
Yeah.
question. So she was the translator for Blackthorn between her, but was she technically translating Portuguese that we were supposed to believe that we heard and saw in English, or was she? Because she never said that she learned English.
Because it was confusing because at one point you don't know who's speaking Portuguese and who's speaking
No,
English,
she spoke-
and they're going back and forth.
I'm pretty sure, like when they were first speaking to each other, like when it first was revealed, she even speaks English because he is English. Like he comes
Right.
from
but
England.
he understands Portuguese from working.
Right, because he was on the boats with...
Right, but she also learned English, I think, like under the table. Like the
Yeah.
way she kind of revealed that, I think that was like I think it was the Catholic priest, not the monk, I guess you can just say. I think she said she learned it from him, like without many people knowing.
And-
But she said she had to, I think, because he was actually speaking English and she was translating the English, so they must have known, or unless they can't discern between English and Portuguese if they don't understand it.
And then you had multiple wars going on. You have these 5. They're supposed to coexist regions into the heir to the throne was old enough, but then there's the backstabbing and they're plotting to
Very Game of Thrones like.
Yeah, that's when it becomes Game of Thrones for sure.
But see, that's the thing though. Like, what was the end result? The end result is they want somebody to become the Shogun. The Shogun being the master general of everyone and everything. So
yeah, it's like end of the day, Sonata's character Toranaga, like he was playing like 4D chess while everybody else was playing checkers. You know, like he knew, like, you know, despite everything that was going on with like the other, I don't want to say tribes, the
clans,
the other clans. Yeah, you know, like remember like how there was the you know the scene towards the end of episode 4, I think, when, you know, like they were showing off the power of the cannons, and then like the younger warrior like used it against the people that they were showing them off to, just to get back at them. Like that wasn't part of his plan, but like he knew how to work around things like that to kind of keep everybody in a certain place, so that by the end of the whole thing, like he would be set up to be on top. Like let the others eat each other, and like I'll just be left to just pick up the pieces.
He was a master strategist.
Yes,
he was using everything that was happening for him. He was using it in a way where he's like, oh, this works in my favor. Let me do this and then do that, so that way I can get what I want.
Like his scene,
even though he said in what was it? Maybe in the first three episodes or so, when he's like, I don't want to be Shogun. Yeah, but things change.
He's eventually gonna want to be one.
Yeah, exactly.
But like his scene at the end, like when it's him and Yabashigi, like at the like sitting like as he's watching above the cliff, and Yabashigi's like ready to commit seppuku, which
suicide.
Yeah, basically kill himself in honor. They had that whole conversation about like what his strategy was, Toranaga's strategy. And he says something, the Toranaga said something at the end, like that was just like, it really like struck with me. Cause like Yabashigi like asked him like, how do you know which way the wind is going to go? Or like something to that matter. And like his response was just like, you know, I don't know where the wind's going to go. I just study it. I just study where it's going now. And I was like, this guy, like, that's what I was saying. He was playing 4D chess while everybody else was playing checkers. His character was that good.
He must have read Art of War a few times.
Yeah, maybe.
So, spoiler alert. Not that we were exactly hiding it. What about the shocking death at the end of episode 9?
There's so many deaths I'm thinking of right now.
And
the daughter.
Oh, duh. Yes.
Yes.
That death. Yeah.
That she sacrificed herself with the explosion. Like, didn't see that coming.
I didn't see that coming. And
that was her seppuku, though.
Was it?
She did it on purpose. Yeah. She knew what was coming, because you hear them on the other side of the door saying, light the fuse.
Is it that, or is it more like, I'm doing it to make sure that, you know, everything else works
both
well?
I think she knew if they saw she was killed, it would like shift the way like things were going with like the different clans, and you know it would show that, you know, and she had been wanting to die the entire season. You know, she was dishonored to herself. Like,
she has
you know,
an abusive husband.
She has a husband that doesn't make anything any better. And all she had been talking about was just like, I must die in honor of.
Didn't she also have a kid with somebody, or was that somebody else?
Maybe.
Didn't she have a kid with someone else, as opposed to because he couldn't get her because he was sterile, wasn't he?
Yes. So like that was just something that she couldn't live with. I mean, like the whole act of killing yourself in honor of something else, if you feel you did something wrong, or you dishonored somebody else, like that was really at the forefront of like the whole, like the center of their whole culture. You know, we saw it with the scene when, you know, the Blackthorn was like ordering the people at the house to keep the rotting chicken or the rotting turkey or whatever it was, like hanging up. And then the old man that we were introduced to earlier in the scene, like he removed it. And then Blackthorn comes back to the house. He asks where he is, and they said like, well, he killed himself. And he was like, why? Because you said specifically not to remove that rotting meat, and he removed it.
Right.
And then he almost left because he was like, this place is, you guys are fucked up. Like, I need to get the hell out of here. And that's when he went to Toranaga, and he talked him back into it. Like Toranaga knew he wanted to leave, and he had to make sure that he was not going to leave, because he knew what he needed out of him.
Because that was his spy.
Yeah,
his spy in the fishing village.
He knew he needed him. That's why he gave him such like special treatment, and everybody was like, "Why are you like giving him? Why are you putting him on a pedestal and all that?" And yeah, so but like I said, that ending scene at the end where he just explains his line of thinking and
Thought
just
process.
Yeah, it all came together. So again, Sonata, he needs to get like an Emmy for this. All the Emmys. Him and Anna Sawai.
I have liked Hiroyaki Sanada for years, whether it was in Mortal Kombat, whether he played Jackie Chan. What was it? Jackie Chan's brother in
Rush Hour 3. Yeah,
like he's great. Bullet Train. He was in Bullet Train.
Bullet Train too.
Okay,
yeah.
So this guy is great. But I feel like it's like he was in the Wolverine too.
Oh,
yes, he was.
Okay?
Yes, he was.
But The thing is, though, I feel like they're just using him whenever they need a Japanese character. That's their
Yeah,
thing.
John Wick 4.
Yeah, John Wick 4. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally, I love the show. I think it's one of the better shows we've had in the last few years. It is very entertaining. The unfortunate part is that we will not be getting a season 2.
Because they're put emphasis on limited series,
Right.
And try to.
Plus, there's no book to base this off. Even though there are more books, there's no continuing story of.
And if let's say they listen to the fan response and they do season 2, but you said they don't have a basis, but that was Game of Thrones problem or in downfall. I get there was a lot more seasons, a lot more content to go off of, but once the show went past the books, a lot of big fans of the show said that was the downhill
Right.
of the show since since George R. R. Martin took forever to ever write that sequel.
So, yeah. The question goes out to you guys. What do you guys think? Did you guys like it? Do you not like subtitles? Let us know in the comment section down below. So, guys, we're nearing the end. And the end is near. And we are going
The nearest end.
The near is end. Yeah, okay, let's go with that. But our last little topic for today is something that our friend James Gunn posted yesterday, day before, whatever it was. And it's our buddy, what's this guy's name? I forgot his last name.
Not Henry Cavill.
Right. Even though if you squint, you might see Henry Cavill there.
Yeah. Can we? Is that able to be zoomed out?
We're going to zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're going to see a full effect on our buddy putting on his
little boots.
Yeah, it looks like he's about to go fight.
For those of you who don't know, this is going to be the new DCU, the James Gunn-led DCU Superman. So everything that's going to happen in Superman, formerly Superman Legacy, this is who he is.
David Corton Sweet.
Right.
Corton Sweet.
Sweat.
I'm taking your word for however you pronounce his name. So yeah, but this dude right here, look,
I have no
initial thoughts. I like the costume. I'm not sure if he's got the red briefs or not, but a lot of people like him.
I think he's got him.
I think he's got him.
I think that's what it is.
I think
it looks like he just came back from fighting somebody else because it looks like he's got battle damage.
I guess was online opinion ultimately split, or if with the initial image that James Gunn has put out.
Well, people are saying that it's way too AI generated. Like it's almost like he called ChatGPT and said, "Hey, make me a."
People should also chill and wait. I mean, yes, it was the director himself and the writer of the movie that put out the image.
And the head of the department.
And head of the studio.
I mean, from what I'm seeing, though, it doesn't seem like people are too polarized about this. I mean, I think everyone's taking that wait and see and chill out approach.
It's still image.
We need to see a trailer. Yeah. We need to see a trailer in motion.
I think the hair is perfect.
He's got the curl.
They nailed the curl in the hair. And it's one image. What I hope for, again, going back to what villain I want to see, of course, they're probably going to start out with a traditional movie. It's probably going to be Lex Luthor. Yes, it's been done over and over again.
And you know what? Because I think we know that Nicholas Hoult is going to be Lex Luthor.
Yes.
I think him juxtaposition with this actor, I think they're going to be good together. I could see Nicholas Hoult killing it.
Well,
definitely much more than Jesse Eisenberg.
Name something that Nicholas Hoult has been in where he hasn't had chemistry with any other.
That's what I'm excited about.
I think it's going to be great. But what's this over here, guys? What's this neon lighting?
Could it be something with Brainiac?
Superman.
That's what I thought.
I would love to see Brainiac in a live-action Superman movie.
That's what I thought. I originally thought that this was going to be.
Yeah,
Brainiac.
I mean, I'm still hurting that Henry Cavill is not the one still continuing with Superman. I guess
you'll get over it after the movie.
Probably with the first teaser trailer, but I think good overall with the first costume. But yeah, it's just the first image. It's not what we saw with the first emo Joker Crow. So I think this is a first good sign. And if people could put the controversy aside, James Gunn does have a good history with you see what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy.
He took nobodies and made them into somebodies, right? Yeah.
You saw what he did with Peacemaker. We all love that show. He did a decent job with Suicide Squad. Definitely approved from the first one. So I think he let him do what he wants. Oh, not let him do what he wants. To a certain extent. To a certain extent, like maybe certain decisions we haven't agree with, but I think Superman. I'm hopeful, but I'm still mad about the other thing. But one thing at a time.
Now, what do you guys think about the suit design in general? Because to me, it looks like a good mix. I know we were talking about the underwear really quick, which is weird, but like, I think
because it's an iconic thing. That's why.
Overall, it looks like a good mix between like the Man of Steel costume and the classic Reeves costume. You know, like the classic comic book accurate costume.
I will agree with that.
I mean,
So-
maybe it's just like his first costume. He's a young. I think he's focusing on a younger Superman.
Yeah, and also I'm going to be honest. I like the fact that the suit has texture. It's not just some plain fabric.
Spandex or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about an alien being wearing, indestructible clothes. Like,
Right.
it's got to look somewhat, textured. Like, there's got to be some sort of
Like, are they gonna have lore behind like what the S means? Does it mean hope, or does it mean like just Superman? Is it something that the
even if it doesn't have lore and they just say it's hope, everyone knows that by now. Even in the comics, they've changed it to like, this means hope now. Okay, congratulations.
Yeah. Now, question is too. I mean, this is pretty much like what we should expect. This, like, I feel like this is almost like him, like James Gunn sending a message, like, this is what you can expect from the whole DCU, like in terms of like what to expect the characters to look like, what the costumes will be like. So like,
So we're using a lot of neon lighting, is what you're telling me.
well, but no, well, I'm saying like just like with the costume too.
Like
But
our
yeah,
studio lights.
well, there's definitely gonna be like, I'm saying like there's definitely gonna be like fantastical elements to
Right.
this new universe. But I think it looks a little loose fitting. I think that's one thing. So like I hope these costumes don't look like that. Like maybe in motion it looks better, but like I hope like Aquaman and a Flash, like they also have like they don't have suits that kind of do the same thing.
So you're talking about over here where,
Like you see, like
it looks like it. I understand that, but
Like it makes it look more like a shirt and not like maybe alien protective armor. You know what I mean?
yeah, I guess what you're saying. I see
Yeah.
what you're getting at. Yeah.
But like Three Doors Down said, will you? If I go crazy, will you still call me Superman?
Right, exactly. And on that note, why don't you guys let us know what you guys think of this new costume? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you on my side where you like the little texture? Or do you agree with Johnny where he says that, if it's going to be some sort of battle armor type thing, why is it so loose? Why is it, wrinkling by the shoulders and everything? So,
Are you excited for the DCU?
yeah.
And just keep in mind, it's just the first image, so don't go don't go batshit crazy. Just
Don't jump
just
the gun.
yet.
Don't jump the James Gunn.
Yep. Don't jump the game. Yeah. Okay. And are we going to get a Snyder cut? I mean, not a Snyder cut, James Gunn cut. So on
Gunshot.
That, yeah. So, guys, that's pretty much it. Anybody else have anything else to say? Anything else you guys have been watching that? Oh, I got something for you. I think you all should watch the newest episode of X-Men 97.
Oh,
It
well,
is
yeah.
Amazing.
I haven't seen it yet. We're near the finale.
Yep.
The Bad Batch just wrapped up. I think it had a beautiful finale. So definitely watch the final season and the final episodes for it. I'm gonna recommend something I watched that's different. Not a movie, not a TV show. Music documentary.
Okay.
That's one thing I'm big on also going back to Hulu, the 4-part docuseries, the Bon Jovi story. Thank you.
I've been meaning to watch that
Thank
too.
you and good night. And it is an honest take. They interview all the members of the band, his ups and downs, struggles. As he gets to 60 years old, the struggles with his voice. So it's a back and forth to present day. It was filmed in 2022, going through the COVID and the pandemic, their heyday, why Richie Sambora left the band. Just it's beautifully done. And even though it's not a fluff or a puff piece to just focus on the good. It is an honest take, and I love music documentaries. I might not be a fan of the artist. I am somewhat of a Bon Jovi fan, but at the same time, I like what they did with this. So thank you. Good night. A 4-part docuseries on Hulu.
Nice. Okay. Johnny, anything?
No, once I got through Shogun, that was pretty much it for a little while, just to take a little break. But I am still trying to get through Sugar on Apple TV Plus with Colin Farrell.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Oh, did you watch it?
I saw 4, 5 episodes.
I'm still getting through the third one because I took a break to finish Shogun.
Dude.
It's good. I heard
Wow.
something happens during that
Yeah, on the
that
6th
season.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
don't spoil it. Don't spoil
I'm
it.
not spoiling
And then-
Yeah,
anything.
told you it was good though.
And
No,
one-
it was great. I'm
and-
so glad you put me onto that.
And
Yeah.
one thing I want to get to that we think we talk on and off there about Fallout. So
Yes,
Oh, you
Fallout.
watching that too? still?
Not yet, but I will. So.
Fallout was great. I saw the whole series. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I don't know much about the history or anything like that. And let us know in the comment section down below if you want us to do a review on Fallout. We might have to bring a special guest because I don't know too much about Fallout, and I don't think everybody else here does either.
Ooh, a guest. First one.
We'll
We'll
see.
see.
see. But yeah, anything else, guys?
Nope, I think.
All right.
good to
With that
go.
said, I think we're out.
Roll credits.